when you're looking at the globe, look at the largest country in the world, China. I mean, its economy isn't doing well at all, and it's only going to get worse. Sometimes people call me a futurist, and I said, nobody can predict the future. There are too many wild cards, whether they're made by humans or by nature. We had forecast that the 20th century was the American century, and the 21st century would be the Chinese century, because the business of America is war, and the business of China is business. Well, that was up until 2020, when China launched the COVID war. That's what all the politicians called it, by the way, a war. They had 3 years of zero COVID policy. They destroyed the lives and livelihoods of hundreds of millions of its people. The world has not recovered from this COVID war. Now, going back to China, you look at China's GDP before Bill Clinton allowed them to come into the World Trade Organization, officially 2 weeks after 9/11. The GDP is like this. They get into the World Trade Organization, shoots straight up. As all those manufacturers in Europe and the United States sent their manufacturing to China so they could get cheap labor and make more money. So China, with all booms, there's a bust. They overbuilt the place. You have 60 million, that's the official number, of vacant buildings, apartments. 60 million. It was overbuilt to begin with, and now the COVID war made a very bad situation worse. Oh, Germany, third largest economy in the world. Yeah, that's just in recession, basically, and forecast to go into recession again in 2025. So it's one country after another. You're looking at Europe, you're looking at China, you're looking at the Moody's and Fitch degrading. This thing's going down. It was artificially propped up when they fought the COVID war, and nations threw in countless trillions of dollars of fake money backed by nothing and printed on nothing. Hey, look at the latest IMF report. The world governments are in over $100 trillion worth of debt. How are they going to pay this stuff off? They're not. Oh, in America, what do we got officially, like 36 trillion? And then when you put in Social Security and all what the government owes, it's more like 260 trillion. So then it goes, why are gold prices going up? Oh, don't talk about it. Don't talk about why gold prices are way high, why they went up almost $700 in this year. Again, that was one of our top trend forecasts, a golden year for gold. We made that forecast on January 2nd of this year, and it's gone up $700. Not a word in the mainstream media about it. Don't talk about it. The reason gold prices are going up is because the people in the know what's going on. Oh, and the central banksters, the people responsible for all of this, buying up gold like at record levels. So when you're looking at the geopolitical and the socioeconomic trends shaping the future, it's danger ahead. I'm a political atheist. I began my career working on major political campaigns in Westchester County, the richest county in America back in the day. I was the assistant to the Secretary of the New York State Senate. I designed and instructed a course called American Politics and Campaign Technology and taught it at St. John's University, how to run political campaigns. And at a younger point in my life, I was the chief government affairs specialist to the chemical industry, killing environmental legislation at the height of the environmental movement in the 1970s. So I was on the other side. Then I started to grow up. I'm making this point because if I wasn't on the other side, I wouldn't know what I know now. It's a freak show. That's who's running the world's governments. Little bunch of gutless, moronic freaks that are leading us into terrible economic dangers ahead. Going back to, they printed all of this fake money, artificially propped up everything. So all those people like in America that they love Trump, I can't stand either one of them. To me, it's a Disney World White House, Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. Go back to 2018 when the equity markets in December were crashing and Donald Trump forced the Fed head to lower interest rates to artificially prop up the markets. Again, what you were saying in 2019. Go to the repo disaster that was going on in September of 2019 when they're dumping in all this money, the Federal Reserve, to artificially prop up the banks again. People forgot about this. One of our top trends for 2020 was New World Disorder. People forgot. There were protests going on in France, the Yellow Vests, Algeria, South Africa, Chile, Cambodia, Bolivia, all over the world, people taking to the streets because of lack of basic living standards, government corruption, crime, and violence. Oh, Then COVID happened. Can't go out in the street. Can't protest. Get back in your house. Oh, Canada just lowered their interest rates 50 basis points. Yeah, no kidding. So again, it's going to be dragflation, declining economic growth and rising inflation. And the inflation numbers, they're saying a load of crap. What are your housing costs in the United States went up since the COVID war, nearly 50%. Automobiles some 39%. Insurance, health insurance, car insurance. Oh, it didn't go up that much this time. It didn't go down. No, I'm telling you, we are in the worst geopolitical and socioeconomic times I've ever witnessed in my lifetime. Again, it's a rigged game. You got 3 companies that own 88% of the S&P 500. BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard. You got 1% that own 54% of all the equity markets in the United States. When you put the 10%, 93%. It's a rigged game. They're going to do everything they can to keep the markets up. Oh, they got a thing called a plunge protection team. Oh, what am I, 6 years old? Who the hell are you talking to? Plunge protection team. You got a bunch of slime balls rigging the markets when it goes down. Oh, yeah, we can't lose. We're the 1%. All we are plantation workers of Slavelandia. Everybody get that in your head. The bigs own everything. Oh, they got an election in America? You got to have $1 billion to run for president. You got to have tens of millions to run for senator or Congress. It's a crime syndicate. I got to tell you something, man. If all these politicians were Italian, hey, they call it a mafia. Yeah, that's all it is. It's a low-life crime syndicate that's robbing the nation of its freedom, its life, its liberty, and the pursuit of justice. The Federal Reserve, not my numbers, Levy Institute of Bard College, dumped in $29 trillion to bail out the bankster bandits when the Panic of '08 hit. Yep. Hey, but you could lose your house, you could lose your job, we'll give you nothing. Look what's going on. They had that hurricane that wiped out a lot of pieces of North Carolina. Here's a couple of $100. So far, the numbers, according to Judge Andrew Napolitano, that the United States has sent to Ukraine to fight the war, $220 billion. $20 billion more to Israel to keep their genocide going. But no money for we the people of Slavelandia. Oh, and you had that little clown Boris Johnson going over to Kyiv to kill the peace deal. That was in March of 2022. The war began February 24th, 2022. Again, Boris Johnson, the best cartoonist in the world, could not come out with a more clownish figure than that little piece of crap. A clown boy in front of everybody's eyes. Hey, how about that little Katson Macron over there in France? A little Olaf Schultz over there in Germany. Out of his mind, Biden in the United States. And again, a Mickey Mouse versus Donald Duck race to the White House in America. Numbskulls. And it's all over the world. It's so sad. I tell everybody, what you have to do is get in the best shape you can, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. You're in the fight for your life. Once upon a time, there was a revolution in the United States. And one of the founding fathers said, it does not take a majority to prevail, but rather an irate, tireless minority, keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men. And that's what we need. We need a peaceful revolution, and we need a whole new system. Again, the crime syndicate, 2 parties have been running the country for how many hundreds of years? So they call it a democracy. Yeah, we go kill people all over the world for freedom and democracy when you don't have it over here. If you don't swallow the crap spewing out of politicians' mouths, they call it misinformation, and you're blacklisted. And I think it's going to take a renaissance. What happened after the Black Plague? Some 60% of Europe was wiped out. The people were killing themselves with the filthy sanitation. And they realized that what they're doing. And they said in Italy, alla Romana et all'antica, in the manner of the Romans and the ancients, to describe the quality of their work. And that, to me, is what has to happen. We need a renaissance. You know, once upon a time, when I was a young guy, they had this thing called the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. It was huge. Step right up, see the freak show. Now you don't have to pay to see the freak show anymore. All you have to do is go out into the street. You could see it. You got the fat man, the tattooed lady, the lady with the beard. They're all over the place. Look at the decline of them. Look at the decline of society. Oh, pajamas are the hot things to wear for chicks now, right? I mean, look at the decline in front of our eyes. Look at the crappy buildings they built. All of this steel and glass when they used to have beautiful buildings and culture. And again, this is what no one's talking about, only in your Trends Journal. No one's talking about about the office building bust and how that's going to bring down the banking system. Your office vacancy rates in the United States, of the largest cities, is 24%. Vacant, nobody there. Your office occupancy rate, meaning people going back to work, 50.1% according to Castle Systems with a K. How are they going to pay their loans, the building owners? They're going to default on them. They're going to bring down the banking system. No one is talking about it. Zero, not a cover, no coverage. You had a little bank just went bust in Oklahoma. Only 2 banks went bust so far in the United States. When 3 banks went bust in 2023, Signature, First Republic, and Silicon Conman Valley Bank, markets went way down, gold went way up. That was 3 banks. You have some $4 trillion worth of commercial real estate loans coming due in the next 2 years. There's going to be defaults like we've never seen before. These are the facts. You could look it up. About 2 months ago, the building in Midtown Manhattan, 50th Street, Sports Illustrated used to be there. In 2006, it sold for around $320 million. It went up for auction. They sold it $8.5 million. You mean it was $320 million and now went for $8.5 million? That's right. Look it up. The buildings built in the last 50 years are non-convertible to housing. So that's the crap that the politicians spew out. It's loaded junk. You take that building, it's in Midtown Manhattan, in the middle of the block. No windows on one side, no windows on another side, no windows on the back. Ain't convertible. This is going to go on. I'm telling you, no one's talking about it. Look at gold prices. Again, why are they going up? Because the people in the know how bad it is. And the media refuses to report it. And there's no media left. There's no media left. It's gone. Journalism's dead. The bigs own everything. The United States, 6 companies control 92% of the media.